President Trump is speaking on camera for the first time about the Justice Department's decision to appoint a special counsel to investigate possible coordination between his campaign and the Russian government during the 2016 election.
I respect the move, but the entire thing has been a witch hunt, and there is no collusion between certainly myself and my campaign, but I can always speak for myself and the Russians, zero. I think it divides the country. I think we have a very divided country because of that and many other things. So I can tell you that we want to bring this great country of ours together.
All right, Dan, I'll go to you on the communications here in terms of the messaging from the president.
So Dan Henninger of the Wall Street Journal wrote a piece this week where he said, just let Trump be Trump. And, you know, don't try to put him in a box. Let him be his own press secretary. Like, my advice yesterday was, when you have a special counsel, the best thing you can do is to say nothing, don't comment on it, and move on so you can actually focus on your agenda and talk about jobs, the economy, and this great foreign trip concept that he has put together. But the advice is useless because he's going to do what he's going to do. So when he decided to comment this morning by Twitter, and again here, I mean, it's a new way to deal with a special counsel. I don't think that they realize how serious this actually is. They'd like to just say that, oh, this is all fake. It might be. It could very well turn out to be that there is absolutely nothing there, but I think that it is actually like walking on a high wire without a net above the Grand Canyon.
Ooh, doesn't sound fun. Okay, Greg, what do you make of this? In terms of, you know, discussing it, there was one statement put out, then these statements today about the special counsel.
My favorite part is when he said, I can speak for myself and the Russians. I know what he meant, but it was still pretty funny.
Our
it was
president
like,
is awesome.
We got this.
I'm also representing the Russians in this. Look, the great thing about this investigation is that they took the ball away from the kids playing in the street. So they can no longer play with this ball. Of course, though, they will find another ball because this investigation will never be enough. Instead of it being the right step, it'll just be the first step. It won't be enough. We need more investigations. We need more independence. But the thing is, you know, how many times have we counted this guy out? I counted him out, I don't know, 637 times during the campaign. I get a sense that Donald Trump is the opposite of like Bill Clinton. He is a creature that thrives on the antagonism, on the fight, which is why you can't count him out. A cat has 9 lives. He's like 3 cats. He has 27 lives. And that's why when I see him up there, I don't see somebody that really gives a damn, which is, I think, kind of refreshing. And refreshing to me and scary to his critics. Does that make sense?
I like that. Okay, Jesse, what do you make of this?
Yes, I agree with Greg. I think Trump has him exactly where he wants him.
It's brilliant.
It's a brilliant strategy.
So
this has been mapped out for months.
That's not what I said. Go ahead, put words in my mouth, you crazy liberals.
I do agree to a certain extent that you're saying is that, you know, Trump's not a traditional politician. He doesn't play by the traditional political rules, and people are judging him by the traditional political rules. And he was brought into D.C. to break the rules. So that's one thing. In context, and I hate to do this to Juan, but I want to just put this into perspective in terms of the other Obama scandals. You had people lying and dying and being bribed on countless occasions, from IRS to Benghazi to the Iran deal to the Bergdahl trade. Hillary smashed BlackBerries with a hammer and deleted 30,000 emails that were under subpoena. And even on domestic terrorist attacks, the FBI could have prevented those things, and then the president comes out and makes it about guns and Islamophobia. So in all those things, there was no special counsel, and the media had no appetite. Here, I guess whatever you call this so-called Trump-Comey-Russia scandal, no one died, no one lied, no one destroyed hard drives, and there's a special counsel all of a sudden, and the media is bloodthirsty for impeachment. So until I see a scandal, I think right now it just looks like an investigation.
I see.
But Juan, wasn't the media and also the liberals kind of bloodthirsty for impeachment or something like that kind of from the beginning, because this wasn't somebody that they supported or thought that would be suitable to be president?
Wait, who did they think was suitable to be president?
Did not think was
did
suitable.
not. Well, yeah, I think it's right when conservatives say that the liberals have never gotten over the election. I think that's true. But I don't think what you said was true, Jesse. No one lied. I think that we know that Mike Flynn lied. I think we know that Donald Trump
not
has
what the investigation is about.
Oh, I think the investigation. Of course, that's part of the investigation.
He was cleared. Nothing illicit happened in his conversation.
No, in fact,
but
according to the
Jesse, that's
FBI.
not right. This investigation started last July, even before the election ever took place, into this counterintelligence investigation into possible collusion between Trump campaign officials and Russia. That started well before.
Lied?
I don't know. That's why there is an investigation. But to say,
right, so no one has lied so far.
Well, we do know that Michael Flynn lied because President Trump said that.
But that's not a part of the investigation.
Yes, it is.
He's
part
being
of the
looked at right now for not registering as a foreign agent and collecting fees for foreign governments.
That's a scandal in and of itself, that he's taking $500,000 from Turkey and then opposing any action that would not benefit Turkey as a U.S. official.
That's not the collusion aspect of the investigation.
Wow. Oh, hang on. Jesse, you can't just, I mean, you know, what did Trump say? This is a witch hunt. You're doing the opposite. It's like, you remember when somebody said, I think it was McCarthy, Kevin McCarthy, the House whip said, and then he says it's a joke, but he says, I bet the Russians are paying Trump. This was last summer, right? I don't want anybody to say someone's paying you other than Fox News.
That was for the beauty pageant.
I don't know, but I'm just telling you, there was big news today, it seems to me, when you have Rod Rosenstein, who is the Deputy Attorney General and Acting Attorney General in claims the Russia probe because Jeff Sessions has recused himself, tell people that, in fact, he knew Comey was going to be fired before he wrote the memo that was then cited by the White House as the basis for Comey's firing.
What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that? It means he was set up and used like a stooge.
No, that's what people do. No, it's like, I'm sorry, all of these errors are not political errors. They're human errors. It's like, you know, when Trump says to Comey, hey, he's a good guy, you know, go easy on him. That's what a guy does. That's what a boss does.
I want to ask you, though, why is that an error when they
the
Rosenstein piece in particular?
Hey, I don't like this guy. Can you do a report on him? I don't know what the problem is there. I think I've done that many times at work.
And then to say that they used it as the reason?
No, I think
that's an error?
I think it is. I think it's a non-political human error. It's what a guy does who's been a businessman.
But it's not a criminal offense.
But you're saying it's more loose semantics.
That's not right. That's not legal.
I understand what he's saying as an editor, right? You're saying it's more loose semantics versus intent.
It's human behavior.
No, it was write a memo that will cover me because I want to fire him.
No, he says the guy's firing. Do something.
And
write about it. Who lied?
Or the press secretaries who said, oh, no, Trump was acting on Rosenstein's memo. He didn't say Trump told Rosenstein to write the memo. But anyway, it seems to me that when you also have, Jesse, reports that the Trump campaign had 18 undisclosed contacts with the Russians in the last 7 months, oh, gee, something's going on. And then you have Trump saying, this is the greatest witch hunt ever. What does that do?
You know what the opposite of a witch hunt is?
Everybody on the defensive, including people who are trying to defend him.
The opposite of a witch hunt is, I guess, the way you might have approached, you know, Lois Lerner, or how the media approached Lois Lerner with the IRS scandal. That's the opposite of a witch hunt. Nobody bothered to hunt anything.
Yeah, if you're on the defensive, you're shredding documents and withholding information from Congress, which Holder was held in contempt of Congress for. I mean, Hillary destroyed 30,000 emails. That looks a little defensive to me, Juan.
Let me just say, has Hillary been found guilty? After all of the Republican probes and hearings, anything?
No, but that
Zero.
No, that's why he was fired, because he botched that obvious investigation.
You're never happy.
But no, you're just using the argument. You're laughing at the same argument you used on him.
Tell me.
You're saying that, oh, there's nothing, no, they're there because there hasn't been an investigation.
No.
That's what you just did to him.
I said there was an they've been extensive, endless investigations by Republicans of Benghazi, IRS.
He wasn't prosecuted.
Since this investigation discussion is going so well, President Trump today also denied that he tried to shut down the FBI investigation against his former national security advisor, Michael Flynn.
Did you at any time urge former FBI Director James Comey in any way, shape, or form to close or to back down the investigation into Michael Flynn? And also, as you look back...
No. Next question.
Have you had any recollection where you've wondered if anything you have done has been something that might be worthy of criminal charges in these investigations or impeachment, as some on the left are implying?
I think it's totally ridiculous. Everybody thinks so. And again, we have to get back to working our country properly so that we can take care of the problems that we have.
No.
What do you expect him to say? So tell me, do you think you were guilty of anything that was illegal? You know, you got me there. Yeah, I'm guilty. You got me. What do you expect him to say?
On advice of counsel, yes, no,
I mean, geez.
wrong.
No, how about the old Al Gore one? Mistakes were made.
Yeah.
No controlling authority, right? But I mean, he knows that mistakes were made. He knows, in fact, that now that there's been an admission that the Trump team knew that Mike Flynn, right, was under investigation when they put him in as national security advisor.
Dana, how would you advise the president to answer those questions?
Well, I think that was right.
You knew if he would take the podium and those questions would come.
If you're going to get it I don't mean, again, I think referring it to the special counsel, it would be fine and say we're cooperating. You saw my statement. I'm going to talk about whatever. But say no, fine. I mean, and just say nothing more. Just be quiet and move on, making them ask you the next question. You know that from juries. But I also think that we can do this whole thing about what about in the past, and that makes for good discussion. And I do not like hypocrisy at all. And so I actually like that for a discussion. But it doesn't matter a hill of beans when it comes to this actual investigation. In the investigation, they won't say, well, what about this and what about that from 8 years ago? They're going to try. And I don't think everybody should just want this real tight and get it over with as quickly as possible so that everyone can move on. I don't know the facts. And as more and more of the stuff comes out, as Juan was describing, the whole $500,000 and the Turks and a conversation with Susan Rice before the administration and the action that was not taken in Raqqa on his advice, and that wasn't disclosed, and then Mike Pence didn't know about that, and now he's saying, well, nobody ever told me that he was actually under investigation, though Michael Flynn's people say it did. There's a lot here that I think could be cleared up pretty quickly by a professional like Bob Mueller.
All right.
I will have to give it to you. Flynn is a problem. He was a problem, and he continues to be a problem. I'll definitely say that. Greg, as much as it pains me to say, made a great point the other day that hoping is not obstruction. If hoping was a crime, everybody'd be in prison. You can't say, I hope this guy's clear,
but when your boss
and then start
says,
doing
I
time.
hope you do this, that's why you document things. If that includes harassment or something like this where you think that there might be a problem when
if
somebody's
someone
going
says,
to ask
I
you
hope
to do
this
something
happens, I don't
lately.
consider it harassment. Maybe I have a lower threshold.
Well, actually, you might.
Yeah?
But that's not what the law says. It will depend on what the law says.
I think the law has to be intent and intent to undermine, and I don't think.
And President Trump said no, so we
bar.
now know his intent. If he is saying it's not under oath, but he's saying in public in front of the world, he's saying no. So that is his statement.
And I hate to compare it to Obama, but he was pretty
oh my gosh,
outgoing when he was saying that Hillary didn't commit a crime over the emails, or there was not a smidgen of corruption at the IRS.
Here's the problem with intent. He tells Pence and he tells everyone else, get out of the room. I just want to talk to Comey. Oh, and then he says, I hope.
Maybe it was a romantic dinner, Juan. You don't know.
Dan has made the point before. As a businessman coming into the Oval, and things are very different in terms of how a president should ask. And in a business boardroom, et cetera, you say, oh, I want to have a talk. You and I, one-on-one, CEO to CEO, everybody leave the room. It's very different here, and he needs to be advised as to what's proper to protect the president, to protect the United States in the Oval. Coming up. Yes.
I've been trying to politely try to interject. We're talking, one of the key examples here is with Flynn, whether it is right or wrong what he did was not a political move on his part. It's what's called a human move. If you are a non-political person, what do you rely on? Loyalty. So he thinks this guy, Flynn, he maybe made some mistakes, but he's a good guy. Hey, go light on the good guy. That's a human response. It's not it might not be the right response. It's not the political response, but it's a guy who defaults on loyalty, which is kind of a human quality. That's all I'm saying.
I'm glad we waited for that point. I appreciate it.
Thank you.